Jeff from Two Hacks Garage. Well, back at Jimmy's shop, working on Project Jumping Jack Flash, our soon-to-be nostalgia front engine dragster. We did get some parts in, 3 things that we did need to get in so we can somewhat complete this chassis. I got my parachute in and my shifter, and in the other room, we got 2 4x10 sheets of 040 aluminum. That's going to be for our body panels. Got to give a shout out to Conrad Sheet Metal of Bloomington, Illinois. They had it in stock. Thought it was a cool project and hooked us up. But while we're sitting here wondering about what we're going to do today, well, we're going to actually build a bracket for the shifter, and we're going to build the bracket for the parachute. Jimmy's done this many times. In fact, he's already been out in the shop, as usual, working.
Wrong. Jimmy's going to build the bracket. He's just going to talk on camera.
Exactly. Jimmy's going to build it. Wondering what parachute I got? Well, I got a Simpson parachute. It's designed for up to, I don't even remember how many miles an hour. But after talking to Holly, this is the chute that they recommended. So this is what I got.
That'll work for 250.
Yeah, 250 miles an hour, Jimmy said.
Is it a 10-foot or a 12-foot?
It's a 10-foot chute. And the shifter that I got, it's a Hurst quarter stick. It's for the power glide that we have. I like it. What I do like about it, boom, just bump it and it goes. However, what we're going to do, we're not going to do it in this video. It's not going to be bumped. It's actually going to be air shifted. But it is a nice shifter. Got to go with Hurst. Has the nostalgia we're looking for. So yeah, we got a quality parachute from Simpson and a quality shifter through Hurst. Both of these came from Holly. If you ever need anything like this, they have so many people that are knowledgeable on what you need. I talk to Jimmy about it all the time, but in this case too, I did talk to them on kind of what I needed, and they also got me hooked up.
I have to admit, though, I've used a lot of Simpson chutes in my 40-plus years of racing. And I'm going to tell you right now, they make the best.
Yeah.
They make the best parachutes.
And that's one thing Jimmy and I did go over when we were looking at parachutes. It's a safety item. He said get the best one. We went with Simpson. Decided to go with the best one when it comes to shifters, so I went with Hurst. With that,
I've always used B&M Pro Bandit, but now Holly owns B&M. They're great shifters also. But he decided he wanted the actual Hurst shifter because, you know, he's an old 4-speed guy. Who made the best 4-speed shifters? Hurst.
Can't go wrong with a Hurst. So with that, guys, I'm rambling. Jimmy's been out in the shop working all morning. We better shift things into gears and get to work. See you in a few. All right, real quick. We're not going to do anything with this in this video. We're still waiting on some stuff to complete the chassis so we can form the body. But here is the sheet metal. It is considered H14 3003 040 on the thickness. We got 2 4x10 sheets. We're going to work with Conrad Sheet Metal out of Bloomington to get stuff bent up, but we're going to do all the rough cuts on that. Like I said, it's not going to be in this video, but we do have the aluminum for the body panels and all that fun jazz and our cowl and our seat, so that's a big positive. But yeah, we need to get to work. I'm rambling. Jimmy's in there working. You know what, guys? It's going to be a busy day. Let's get to it. All right, so what Jimmy's doing right now, actually what he's been doing before I got to the shop, he's making these solid blanks here. And if you look that it's concave, what happens is it's probably not the right spot, but that is going to go along the chassis like that. He's making 4 of these and they'll be threaded. So after these 4 are done, we'll make a plate because inside the parachute there's a bracket that mounts to it. So once we get the bracket out of the parachute, Jimmy will know what size plate to make. And then make 4 of these that'll be threaded. We'll put them into place where they need to be, wherever they need to be. And that will be welded on here like this. And then the bracket will mount to that. And then the parachute will go back here. It's a pretty ingenious way to do it. I dig it. Like I said, we pride ourselves in doing everything ourselves if we can. We're on a budget. And this is pretty cool, actually. So basically, once those little tabs are welded into place that Jimmy's making, we get the bracket made, and in the back here there is another bracket plate that will mount to that, and it'll go on the back here like this. Pretty neat, digging it. Like I said, we take pride into making our own stuff. Well, Jimmy does most of it because he's a machinist and I'm learning, but yeah, we're sticking to a budget, trying to do as much as we can with what we have. This is going to be solid, it's going to be nice, and we're going to get back to work. See you in a few. All right, so what you saw us do is this is actually the pack or the piece of aluminum. It was the one that's actually in the parachute that goes inside there. So what Jimmy did is we had a piece of aluminum, same thickness, and we made an exact copy of this. And Jimmy went ahead and drilled some holes in there. And what's going to happen is this will go back in the actual parachute itself. And this is the one here that will bolt to the little studs that we made for the chassis that'll get welded on. So these will get tapped. Actually, they already are tapped. Welded onto the back of the chassis where I showed you earlier. This will actually bolt to it. And then this one here will be in the pack and it'll be sandwiched together. With that, we're going to get back to work. Right, so here you can kind of see our thought process behind this. Jimmy's just getting stuff lined up on where these will get welded into place. Yeah, he's getting ready to make a mess. So this is the backing plate here that'll sandwich to the actual parachute itself, like I showed you earlier. Kind of get our thought process behind that. We're just brainstorming on how that is going to fit and work right. But
you brainstorm up there and get me a clamp so we can clamp it here.
Yep, I'm going to go get Jimmy a clamp and we're going to brainstorm this. See you in a few. All right, so you can see now kind of a better, I guess, explanation view of what we're doing. So Jimmy's got the studs welded in and they're tapped. So that plate, it's hot right now, otherwise I'd show you. That plate will bolt to that along with the other plate that's inside the pack. We'll bolt and sandwich that in. That just actually holds the chute pack on. So I was talking to Jimmy about this and I should have clarified. So when that chute pops out, this isn't going to take the brunt of it. There's actually a cable that we will make a mount to here. So that's just actually for the chute pack itself. So when I hit the lever, which will be right in there somewhere, and pop it, there's a spring. And that's going to pop that out, actually out of the pack itself. And like I said, there's like a big cable that'll run down to here. And that is what will, take the brunt of that chute when it goes to stop. So just to kind of clarify that this is not a structural integral part of the chute when it comes out to take the brunt of slowing this thing down. We'll get into that later, but our actual parachute pack mount is coming together quite nicely. See you in a few. Real quick, guys, might as well show you. So this is the spring that goes into that pack. The chute's actually down there folded up. This is the cable that I was talking about. So this actually hangs out of the pack, and that goes down to a mount. So when this spring pops everything out, this here will be attached to the chassis, which is attached to the chute, which will go and do the big plume and slow my butt down. So yeah, just wanted to explain that real quick, but that's where we're at. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back at it here in a few minutes. All right, well, we're back from a break. Just wanted to give you an explanation of how this works. Here is the actual chute pack itself, like I originally showed at the beginning. It did come with a plate that was in there, and all we did with it is we drilled holes in this that correlate to these tabs here, and then from there Jimmy went ahead, as you saw, he made an exact same plate with that. So basically this plate here it goes on here like that. And then the other plate goes in the chute pack itself. And what this is going to do, we still got to put a couple small holes in the actual chute pack itself so this works. So once we get the holes in there and get everything exactly the way we want it, so if you look here, the metal plate is in there, and you can see how that's going to work. So basically imagine this with the parachute in it, and we got this plate, and the holes are the same. This goes like this, and then this goes like this, and that is what holds the chute pack together. Pretty cool. Like I said, we pride ourselves in doing pretty much everything ourselves, making what we can when we can, saves money, trying to do this on a budget. But yeah, that's how that's going to work. And what we're going to do now is we're going to get back to work, but I just wanted to show you how that all goes together and how that chute pack actually holds onto the chassis. With that, we'll see you in a few. All right, real quick, we're going to move on to the shifter bracket. What Jimmy and I just did is we actually put the engine plate back in there, because what we need to do, because we don't have any body work done yet, but we need to figure out the line of where the body and the cowl is going to meet up back here with the chassis, so we know where, and I'll probably hop in there too, so we get a good idea. We're actually going to put a line from here to there, figure out where the cowl's going to go, figure all that out. Kind of rough area, so we know where I'm gonna sit versus where the cowl's gonna be, so where we can put our awesome Hurst shifter. With that, see you in a few. All right, well, there we go. We got the shifter installed. It's just sitting in there for now, guys. You got to remember, everything comes apart on this car because what Jimmy and I are trying to do is get everything welded onto the chassis of this so we can actually paint it, get that nice red metal flake. I kept on getting back up in there to make sure that there was room for not only my arm where I sit and be able to reach all the way forward with both hands to get it out of reverse. But yeah, so that's how the shifter is in there. Pretty happy about that, and yeah, liking it. So basically what we have left to do and what Jimmy is measuring now is off that chute pack, the shroud line has got to go from the actual pack. When it pops out, there's the line I showed you earlier that is going to go to that bar right there. And the reason why it was never welded in place is because we needed to know where that crossbar right there is going to be for where the shroud line on the actual parachute mounts. And Jimmy's been measuring for that.
No,
so
they never welded.
Well, yeah, they never welded in. But yeah, that bar actually, when we got the chassis, was never welded in place. Funny, chassis certified, but we didn't weld it because we needed to know where the shroud line was going to be. So that's what Jimmy's measuring for now. And that's what we got left on getting the parachute mount complete. Shifter's done. Shoot. That's all the work we got left to do. No pun intended.
Cool.
All right, so here's the back of that bar that has not been welded in place. And like I showed you in a previous video about the parachute shroud with the loop, where the actual parachute mounts to. So this bar is going to get welded in here, and we got two of these tabs here. They're going to get welded in, and there's going to be a solid piece between them where that loop goes into, and it's going to be threaded so you can get it all off. So what Jimmy's doing is he's over here on the lathe, and he's going to start turning down that piece of metal that you see right there. So he's going to get that cleaned up, and we're going to drill a hole through it, tap the ends. Well, probably not tap the ends, just put a bolt through it for it. So yeah, that's going to go in between two of these right there on the back of that bar.
Well, what I did was I screwed up. I thought I had a chunk of aluminum around here, but I got to make it out of steel.
Yeah, he thought he had aluminum, which is a little lighter, but we're going to have to make it out of steel. With that, guys, we're going to get to work. All right, real quick, just be clear and concise. This is the shroud we're talking about. This actually connects to the parachute. It's all looped up, wound up in there. So those two tabs with that solid piece of steel that Jimmy's making, that's going to go on that one bar, this is actually going to be in there. So when the parachute comes out of the pack, it's going to be secured into place to the chassis, very solid, and we'll have somewhere for that parachute to come out, form its plume, and slow me down safely. With that, let's get back to work. All right, real quick, Jimmy's going to work on welding this in now that we know from where our parachute pack goes down to where the shroud line goes, and we just got done engineering this. So that shroud with that loop will actually hook onto here, and once Jimmy welds that into place, this will weld onto here like that. So he's going to get working on welding on that, and once we get everything in place, we'll show you the finished project. See you soon. Well, guys, it's been a productive day. We got our shifter bracket in place, which is nice. Like I said, this isn't mounted in there yet. Everything's got to come off this chassis. We still have a lot more welding to do on it and keeping it exactly where it's at right now, but that's done. So all these little things that take a lot of time, it's always little things. Full day's worth of work getting that into place there. And let's go back here and made our parachute pack mounts and brackets for that, which is pretty cool. I would actually mount all this up with the parachute, but you know what? That's a whole lot of space to take up, and we just don't have that. And what Jimmy just did here was he made that parachute shroud, that loom I showed you in another video. That's going to go around that. And so when it comes out of the parachute pack, catches on that and goes that way. We still got a whole lot of work to do. Still need to do some finish welding on that. The car is going to have to be flipped on its side to do that. And also, we're going to have to flip it upside down again because we need to put in some Zeus fasteners because there's going to be aluminum sheeting underneath. And probably in the next videos, we'll be doing some of that along with putting in some breather tubes because Jimmy's got a really cool idea of how to make the evac canister on this. But yeah, all the little things take time. All the little things a lot of people overlook. But you know what? In order to get this done, you got to do the little things. So yeah, good progress today. Chute pack mount made. Our shroud loom made. Shroud loom mount made. And our shifter's in place. With that, guys, till the next one. Later.